A $34 million Bitcoin long just opened. Abu Dhabi has bought $520 million worth of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin itself is sitting right at higher time frame support. At the same time, we have several active trades running, which I will update later in the video. This market is not random right now, guys. We are active and we are prepared. This is Bitcoin on Point, where I break down the market in real time and emotion free. If you're getting value from these daily breakdowns, smash the like button and hit that subscribe button for your daily analysis. As always, every trade, entry, exit, and adjustment is shared live inside my free Telegram. The link is in the description. And we're going to start with the macro for today, where that whale has opened $34 million in a Bitcoin long position with 3x leverage. Their liquidation price is 18.7k, and it shows major conviction. Smart money doesn't position like this randomly, guys. They position at key levels. And look at where we are on the higher time frame, right? Now, Bloomberg also just announced live on TV that Abu Dhabi has bought $520 million worth of Bitcoin. That is complete sovereign capital. It's not retail. It's not influencers. It's nation state level allocation. And this is how adoption evolves in the space. Now, finally, President Trump is allegedly calling Bitcoin the new oil. Let that sink in. Oil powered the last century. If Bitcoin does, let's say, become the brackets a new oil, we're not talking about small moves anymore, guys. We're talking about a global monetary shift. So whales are positioning, governments are accumulating, and the narrative is shifting fast. And this is all occurring whilst price is sitting at a higher time frame support zone. This is not noise. This is transition. Now, with that being said, let's dive into the charts, and we're going to start with Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And it's very evident to note that Bitcoin has a major level of resistance, a multi-year level of resistance, and this very interesting level of support. Now, whenever Bitcoin has tapped into this resistance trend line since 2021 and the double top that we placed back at the previous all-time highs, we've either seen sharp corrections or we've actually seen bear markets. So this isn't any sign to ignore. It's definitely something to focus on. Why? Because the last point of contact on this trend line was the 126k all-time high. We did have this yellow ascending level of support where from 2024, we was building this higher high, higher low structure. We had support, resistance, but we did tap out our 126k on this resistance trend line, and we lost the yellow trend line of support. And this is where we started to see that downtrend heading into 2026. So the fact that we lost the ascending level of support was a warning sign, and since then we have seen that breakdown. Now, the target we're looking at is back down on this support trend line, which sits roughly at $61,000. Now, this is the weekly order block we've been monitoring on the channel for some time, and it's an area in the past in 2024 where bulls did step in, and this pushed Bitcoin to its new all-time highs. So it's a very strong liquidity pocket and previous demand zone. Now, with that being said, let's look at the 61k area, because again, yes, it's the weekly bullish order block, and since the low in February, Bitcoin has been respecting it. Now, we do have 72k as the major level of resistance to break. I know it gets boring sometimes, guys. We're going over this for some time now, but again, data is data. We have to respect it. 72k is the imminent resistance to break, and 79k is where we could actually start seeing some sort of market structure shift, right? A potential bullish reversal, a clean bullish reversal if we start taking out 80k. So I know it's a lot to ask for right this second, but Bitcoin is respecting a daily bullish order block. If we actually zoom in a little bit here, what you'll actually see is that we have a bullish OB, which is roughly at 67k, and price is coming back to it as we speak. So as long as we respect it, this is where we could see that push back up to 72k. However, failing that, if Bitcoin does roll over and lose the bullish order block and hit its head on it as resistance, this is where we could come back down into the weekly OB, right? And that again sits just like we covered on the monthly, on the weekly time frame, sorry, it sits back down between 61 to 60K. So this is, again, an area in the past where previous demand stepped in. And if Bitcoin does come back down to that level, it's a very interesting inflection point, right? So you can see how the daily and the weekly bullish order block tie in here together. Previous demand from 2024, and we're right back down in those levels. Now, there is a slight sort of period of consolidation going on here. You can see it's been pretty range bound from 70K to sort of 65K, and that's been since the start of February. So we're simply waiting for a reaction. It's consolidation. There's a bullish order block at 67K being respected. However, we do have another major liquidity pocket below at 61K, which is the target we're looking for if we see any further downside. Now, with that being said, we're going to tie this into Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, and we are still respecting the 4-hour order block. We are inside a potential symmetrical triangle, which is a neutral pattern. We've got a level of resistance, a level of support, a level of resistance, a level of support, and we're just sort of coiling around in this area waiting for a decision. Now, if Bitcoin does break through, then 72K is that imminent target we're looking for, which is the previous resistance from early February, right? It's where the triangle actually started to form. So if we do break out of this resistance trend line, that's where 72K becomes a real possibility. However, if we lose the support, again, we simply zoom out to the weekly order block, right? If Bitcoin does come down and lose this 4-hour support and hit its head on it, just simply resort back to 61K, which is the target we're looking at for a potential bullish reversal. Okay, so at this moment in time, again, the 4-hour is very evident to show this is just consolidation inside a structure. There is liquidity waiting below, liquidity waiting above. One of them is going to have to get hunted first, and we're here monitoring it all of the way. We do have the respected 4-hour order block, and if we do break resistance, 72K is the target. However, if it's lost, we look for 60 to 61K. It's that simple. Now, with Bitcoin wrapped up, we're going to dive into our trade setups and see what's actually happening. Now, of course, we do have the sort of lower weekend volatility, which has now brought price back down just below our entry. However, there is this previous level of support where in the past, we did see demand step in. It was a level of resistance. It got turned to support, and this roughly sits at 0.0019. So what we're actually waiting for here is a strong reaction to look for the continuation up to our TP1 targets. It looks fearful, but in the past, again, this is where demand has stepped in. We are not emotional. We are simply watching for the reactions, right? Now, with that being said, let's look at SPX. And again, due to the weekend volatility, price is resorting back down into our re-entry at the BE, which is our break-even zone. And what we're actually waiting for here, or what the plan actually is to simply wait for a liquidity reaction. Yes, we are back down again inside dangerous territory, but we've already hit TP1. We already hit this in the past, and we secured $113. So even if it does get ugly, we're still at a minimum in profit and breaking even after our re-entry, okay? So if TP2 comes along and this support block holds, fantastic. If not, it is what it is. We keep moving. Now, with ADA, right, this was a setup we was looking at, right, and we was waiting for the execution. Now, we did actually come back down into our entry, right? Again, during the weekend volatility, we got the entry and we was expecting some sort of relief rally up to our TP targets. However, again, due to the weekend, we are now back down at the daily fair value gap. And again, it's an area in the past where buyers have actually stepped in. So with that being said, we're back down here again. It looks fearful, but we just have to wait and see how the reaction unfolds. If it works out, fantastic. If it doesn't, we move on and we adjust, right? So now let's take all of this into the Profits Precision platform, because this is where we're monitoring all of our foundation. It's where we're monitoring this $10,000 to $100,000 trading challenge. That's right, guys. Look, we're up 7%. We're up roughly $700. We've got 6 trades in total, 5 wins and 1 loss, which is a win rate of 83%. Our average win is $160, guys, right? And you can see here we have Arve that we actually lost. Again, you don't win everything. It happens. You know, we're fully transparent. We're showing our wins and our losses. But we do have SPX where we got that $130 on our TP1, which was previously hit. And we do also have the trade for Chili's, which we secured at $82 as well. So we're active inside multiple trades. We've got Pump, SPX, and ADAR, which are back down at areas we need to see a positive reaction. However, we're not stressing because we're already, again, guys, we're already up $700. We have a great win rate and we're tracking everything live on this platform. So you can find the link for Profits Precision in the description. It's a great platform to monitor everything in one place, and you also get 30 days of free access. Now, everything else, the entries, the exits, the execution, it's all shared live inside my free Telegram. The link for that is also in the description. Until next time, guys, all of the best.